And next we're going to explore the sum of the angles of a triangle. And we're going to do this by experimenting around with three different kinds of triangles and estimating what the sum of those angles comes out to be. Well, what I did was I went ahead and I made some cutouts of three triangles. Okay, these are actually the three triangles that were up here on the top. Okay, one of them is equilateral, one is scalene, and one is an isosceles triangle. So these are actually cutouts of those three triangles. And I want to be sure on all three of them that we mark out the angles so we know exactly what we're adding up here. Okay, so I want to make sure that the angles are clearly marked on all the triangles, and you can, if you'd like, follow along with me on this little experiment and see what we find. Okay, mark all three angles on each of the three triangles. And here's our equilateral triangle. Let me make sure all the angles are marked on this as well. Okay, and let's go in order of the triangles above. Let's start with our equilateral triangle. Let's see what do these angles add up to. I'm going to go ahead and make some cutouts of this triangle. I'm going to cut this angle off. I'm going to cut each of these two angles off. So now I've got these three angles. Let me line them up against this line here and place the vertices of the three angles on point X. So I've got one vertex on point X, like that. I'll put another vertex on point X like so. And let me put the third vertex on point X just like so. Well, what does it look like to you? Keep bumping into it, but basically what we're finding is they add up to a straight line, right? Pretty much if I just had everything perfectly lined up, they would add up to a straight line. There we go. Okay. So, oops, it's a little bit off there, but that's because of the way I cut it. Okay, but if you just adjust for the way I cut it, you'll see for an equilateral triangle, the three angles approximately equal a straight angle. Let's take a look at our next triangle. Let's look at our scalene triangle now. That would be this one. And let me go ahead and cut out the three angles from the scalene triangle. One over here, one over here, like that. Okay, and let's go ahead and line these three up. So I've got this one, I'll go from right to left this time. I've got this one on the right. I've got this one I'll put into the middle, about like that. And this one I'll put on the left side. And I think you'll see the three angles, again, add up to a straight angle. Interesting, right? And now finally, let me do this with my isosceles triangle as well. Let me go ahead and make my cutouts. Doesn't really matter how I cut them out as long as I can line my angles up. So let me line my angle up here. And then let me line my angle up over here. And finally, line this angle up over here, and I think you'll see that once again we've got three angles whose sum is equal to a straight angle. Okay, with it, just having a little trouble with the paper, but basically they add up to a straight angle. And you probably do a better job. You'd probably be able to show it even better than I'm showing it here. But that looks pretty good. That's kind of right. Okay, so no matter what triangle we start with, no matter what we do, and doesn't matter what order we line the angles up either, they're all going to add up to 180 degrees. So the conclusion is basically the angles of a triangle add up to a straight angle. Okay, so however whatever triangle we take, whatever type of triangle we take, we cut it out, we look at the angles, we line them up, they always add up to a straight angle, and we can make a statement from that. In this particular example, the angles are called 1, 2, and 3. We can say that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3 is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, why can we say that? What is the reason for that statement? Well, the reason is that we already know that the angles of a triangle add up to a straight angle. So 1 is the angles of a triangle add up to a straight angle that we found out by trying it out, and that 2, the measure of a straight angle is equal to 180 degrees. So putting those two together, we can say that measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 plus measure of angle 3 equals 180 degrees.